Ahoy there, Captain Steve coming to you. We're coming up on the last lock, and I know some of you, like Erica, were wondering what it was like to go through the locks. So since this is the last lock, I'm going to video it so you guys can get the idea. I think right now there's a gator crossing the water in front of us. He just went under. But we're coming up on the locks, on the last lock. This lock we're going to drop down 12 feet. So once we're in the lock, they're gonna close the gates behind us, or actually they're gonna probably they'll open up whatever they got to open, but 12 feet will drop down, the water will rush out slowly as they open the gates, and then we'll drop down 12 feet in order to continue through the next gate once they open it. So we're approaching right now. I have two bumpers out, one there, and there's a bumper out on the back. It's actually a poly ball. It's because we go in and there's a cement wall you get up against and hold. You got to hold onto the rope until all the water's out, and they open up the gate for you to get out. So I'm gonna let it run. I may be quiet here and there, but just so you can watch. But here we are, we're coming up on the lock. There's a boat inside of the lock right now coming in toward us. We're headed east, they're coming west, so we've got to kind of just slow down and stand by until they're done, and then letting them open up the gate for that boat to continue on toward us before we can go into the lock. This is the St. Lucie lock. So if you want to look, if you looked on your map and you found Lake OKACHOBEE, which we've already passed through, and follow the river for Indian Town on the other side of Lake OKACHOBEE, which heads toward the east coast of Florida, you would eventually find or see St. Lucie, which is where this lock is located. So we're not far from Stuart, Florida, which that is, then, so we're not, once we get through this lock, it shouldn't be far from the coming out of the channels and then onto the east coast of Florida in the ICW. This video may be a little lengthy because of having to wait for them to open the lock and everything, but we got campers or people in tents here on the side. Let me see if I can zoom in a little. There you go. People staying in tents. I guess there's a camper there. It must be like a camping area, somewhat of a camping area. There's that boat. He was behind us, and then he decided he was going to pass us. And before he even got all the way past us, he got his triple 300 horsepower outboards. He decided to open it up before he's all the way past us. So we caught a bunch of his wake, and the boat rocked a little bit, but because he was just inconsiderate and didn't want to wait till he got all the way past us in order to open it up, which he had no reason to, because now he's still sitting there waiting for the lock to open, because we radioed and let him know we were on our way. So now he just he got to open it up and burn more fuel than he needed to, just to sit there and wait for the lock to open. And because there's that westbound boat. So, but yeah, he got to burn a bunch of fuel in order to just sit there and wait. And he rocked a bunch of boats that were docked at their little docks, at their piers or whatever, because of his wake. But you gotta watch your wake. You're responsible for your own wake. If you damage a boat that's docked because of your wake, and they know who you are, you're responsible for the repairs. So if you see, let me zoom in. The black and yellow striped area, that is the gate that will open. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't holding it very still. But that's the gate that'll open that we'll enter into. So I'm going to zoom back out now that I showed you that. That way once we get in the lock and I'm showing you, it's not all distorted and you can't see it because I'm so zoomed in. I'm going to pause it for now so this video is not super long until we actually start heading through the gate. So be back in a bit. Turn this back on because there's a bunch of fish jumping. Maybe we catch one on video here. Let me go up to the rail. Oh, there was one. He jumped there, at least a couple there jumped twice. There's a fish jumped twice out of the water. Guess he's done. Well, there he is. He ain't that far behind. There's a boat behind us. They're gonna wait to open up the lock for the other boat that's right behind us. Right there. So we all three will go in the lock together. Zoom in because now they're out there jumping. Oh, there's fish jumping anyway. Alright, so I'm going to zoom in because the gate is opening. The lock is itself the gate. You see that gap right there. So what's going to happen is the boat that's in there will come out and then they'll give us the green light. We'll go in. They'll close that gate that's opening behind us. And they'll open the gate in front of us slowly to let the water that's inside of the lock that we're sitting in drain out and flow down upstream or downstream, whatever it is, until we drop down 12 feet and they're level with the section of water on the other side of the gate that'll be in front of us. And then once all the water drains out and we drop down 12 feet, they'll finish opening the gate in front of us all the way and give us the go ahead, and we'll let go of the ropes because we'll wrap a rope around the cleat and just hold on to it. We don't tie it, we just hold on to it. And then they'll give us the go ahead, we'll let go of the rope, push off a little bit, put the motors in drive and motor out through the last lock. So the gates are opening. There should be a boat in there getting ready to come out as soon as they give them the go ahead and the gates are all the way open. Alright, looks like the boat that's in there has gotten the green light and the go ahead to come out. Looks like it's a tugboat or a barge of some kind with maybe some dredging equipment or piping. But here it comes, it's coming out. Once he's out, we'll get the green light. You see that red light flashing, that's for us. Once that turns green, then we can enter the lock. I'm not quite sure what he's pulling behind him, but he's pulling something. He's dragging something behind him. We'll get as he gets closer, we'll be able to see and tell better. So apparently he's hauling dredging pipe, which they just drag through the water to the next location to dredge the channel and keep it the depth that it's supposed to be, and all the sand and dirt build up clean it out. So that's the dredging pipe that he's hauling. And then I guess the guy behind him is connected to the other, either connected to the other end or he's dragging something as well. Just dragging it along through the water. And the other guy might be pushing the other end of it to help keep it, help get it going, get it along. So now they're out. And if you can see, we have a green light. So now that's for us to enter. It's time for us to go in. So we'll let these guys get some clearance and we're head in. Now that other gate that's up ahead of us, that's the one that'll open and let water out and we'll drop down 12 feet. Nice. You can see it's idle speed, no wake within 300 feet of the lock. So that means you go slow. You don't create you don't create no disturbance in the water, or very little, because they don't want to damage in any of the gates or the mechanisms on the lock. These locks you have to time because you can see they're only open till 5, and the last lock opening is at 4:30. So if you get here for the last lock opening, and somebody is coming through from westbound right before you, and they get in there, you may be screwed. They may not open the lock for you because 4:30 is the last opening. So now I'm going to get up and I'm going to come over here. And I'm going to wait till we get up in here to grab my rope, the rope I'm supposed to grab. You see they have ropes. Well, you probably can't see unless I zoom in, but I'm not going to zoom in just yet. They have ropes all along the edges. He's going to I think this guy here that's walking is going to toss me one. Because we're pretty high up. Like I said, we're going to drop 12 feet, so he's probably going to toss me the rope. Yep, they're all tied up along the rail for him, and he'll toss me one. So I'll set this up, wait for him to toss it to me, and then we'll come back. I don't think, we'll see if I can catch it while I'm on the camera. That way you can see him toss it. I don't know if you want to see him or not. But there you go. You can look out there. I'll zoom in. You can see the drop off. See how it drops down? That's why we have to drop our level 12 feet. Sorry, I'm having issues getting it back. There we go. Good, buddy. Yep. Sorry for the dark, but I had to catch the rope and wrap it around the cleat. So it took, I had to put the phone down quick to wrap it around the cleat. So I'm going to pause for now so I can keep tension on here until they open the gate, then you guys can see the gate.